everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you every single horror book that I have on my physical TBR. The reason I'm doing this is because I want you guys to tell me which ones I should be prioritizing. If you don't know, I have a massive TBR, most of which you can see behind me, and I'm trying to chisel away at it, and I think one way of doing this will be to show you all of the books I have in different genres and ask you to pick the ones that I read. So once you have watched this video, leave a comment with the book or books you would like me to prioritize from this list, and I may do like a little reading vlog or something. At the very least, I will be prioritizing them and working my way through them. I think this will be really good motivation for me to get through those books. I was originally going to include thriller books in this video as well, but there were too many of them, so I'm going to split it into two. First of all, I'll show you my horror books, and then we'll do another video showing you my thrillers, and then we'll go through each genre that I have on my shelf, and you guys can help me choose what I read. Starting off, we have Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. This one is one that I've had on my TBR for ages. I've started it a few times. First of all, I started reading it as an ebook because I got it from EW as a review copy, and then I decided to buy the physical version because I really enjoyed the first however many chapters that I read, and then I made it 25 pages in before stopping, and I don't know why, because I was really enjoying it. So this is historical horror. This is about a young girl called Jane who has been trained to be a zombie hunter. It's the first part in a duology, so if I enjoy this one, I'm more than happy to finish this one off because I'm trying not to get caught up in too many long series, so this would be an easy one to pick. Like I said, I have enjoyed what I've read so far, so I'm hoping I'm going to really enjoy this one when I do get to it. The Paulbearer Club by Paul Tremblay. This one was sent to me by my friend Justine. I don't really know what it's about. I've really enjoyed Paul Tremblay's books in the past, apart from his most recent one from last year, or the year before maybe at this point, but I really enjoyed A Head Full of Ghosts and The Cabin at the End of the World, so I do want to give this one a go. Like I said, I've got no idea what it's about, but flicking through, it looks like it's written in letters, and there are some annotations along in the margins as well, so that's a very interesting way of consuming a story and telling a story, so I'm going to give this one a go quite soon, I think. If anyone's read this, let me know what you think, because it does very much intrigue me. Then we have The Passage. This one is a very famous one actually. I think it's been turned into a TV show, which I haven't seen. This one is post-apocalyptic and it's about vampires, and I don't know how that kind of works together, so I'm very intrigued. I bought this one years ago. I can't remember when this one came out, maybe 2010. Yeah, 2010. I'm so good at this, and I've heard really good things about it, and this is the start of a trilogy as well, so I'm very much looking forward to giving this one a go. I don't think this is like straight horror, to be honest, but I'm keeping it in this category anyway because it features vampires. Another one that I don't think is just a straight horror book is The Library at Mcha. I know nothing about this one other than it's really weird. That very much intrigues me as well, so I've been told it's best to go into this one not knowing anything at all. Goodreads tagged it as horror/fantasy, so I think it's okay to put it on this horror list. I am very intrigued by this one, like I said, so if anyone wants to vote for this one, please do, because I'm so close to picking this one up by myself. I'm just trying to read the back of it and try to make out very quickly what it could be about, and it's just mentioning God and a father, a girl and her adopted siblings, so not really sure what's going on here, and all of the reviews say don't read these until you've read the book, so got no idea, but I'm looking forward to giving it a go at some point. I've got a gothic horror, which is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. So this one I was going to read when I was down in Cornwall, but I didn't get to it because we had so much stuff going on during our honeymoon. I have done a honeymoon reading vlog, or just vlog, because there wasn't much reading going on, but I haven't edited it yet because there's so much footage. I had so much happening, so I didn't have a chance to get to this one. I did start it, I think I read like 5 pages. So that's not great. This one is about a woman who is taken by a man to his house, I think in Cornwall. I don't think we ever find out her name, or do we? I don't know. But they go to a place called Manderley in Cornwall, and she hears a lot about his ex-wife called Rebecca. So I'm looking forward to reading this. The first 5 pages were very intriguing, and it was a really easy writing style considering this is a classic, so I'm looking forward to carrying on with this. I have The Hatching, which I have been putting off reading. I think I got this one at one of a publisher's kind of book events for bloggers, and I picked it up because the cover did intrigue me at the time, but also it's clearly about spiders, and I'm really scared of spiders. It looks like here it's kind of like an anaconda or arachnophobia type deal. So deep in the jungle of Peru, a black skittering mass devours a tourist party whole. The first female president of the US is summoned to an emergency briefing. Fatal plane crash, gruesome discovery, an earthquake. There's all sorts going on here, and I am very intrigued by it. This is why I picked it up, but I am just a bit scared that it's going to be absolutely terrifying. So if you want to vote for this one, you can. Just know that this is one that I'm least likely to read anytime soon, unless you do vote for it, because spiders. Lovecraft Country. So my husband has actually already read this one and he really enjoyed it, and he recommended that I give it a go, and I keep meaning to, and I keep meaning to watch the series as well, but I just haven't gotten to it as usual. I don't know anything about this one either. I do tend to go into horror and thriller books mostly knowing nothing at all, because I think that's the best way for me to consume them. I like to be shocked and horrified at what's to come, and sometimes synopses do give way too much away, which I don't like. So this is set in Chicago in 1954. It says that it's an imaginative blend of magic, power, hope and freedom. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a go as well. I have another vampire book, and that is in Nightfall. I'm actually planning on picking this one up soon, so don't feel like you need to vote for it, because I'm definitely going to be reading it in the next couple of weeks for a different vlog. This one is a YA book. There are teenagers in this small town and they have to fight vampires. I think that's all I really know about it. I think it's got kind of Buffy vibes. Unbury Carol by Josh Malerman. I kind of want to read all of his backlist and see which one I think is best, because I think he's written quite a few books and all of them seem very different. I really enjoyed Bird Box by him and I hated Mallory. I thought it was shit. So I'd be very interested to see what his backlist is like, and this is the only other one that I own so far. It says here that it's a terrifying spin on the Sleeping Beauty fairy tale. This may be more of a thriller book, I'm not too sure, but the tagline says she has died many times before but she has never been buried alive, so I'm very intrigued. I also have Pine. It says it's a gothic thriller. I'm not really sure if it is more of a thriller or a horror. It says here that Lauren and her father Niall live alone in the Highlands. A woman stumbles out onto the road one Halloween night. Niall drives her back to their house in his pickup. In the morning she's gone. Something tarot cards, local teenagers go missing. I think this one sounds very good. I really enjoy books set in the Scottish Highlands. It's one of my favourite places I've ever been to. Really love to go back there. This next one, again, I'm not really sure if it is a straight up thriller, but it's Plain Bad Heroines. My friend Kerry loves this one and I keep meaning to read it. We were meant to be reading it a while back for our book club because it was one of her favourite books and I just never got to it. I was so busy and this book is chunky, but it sounds so good. So this is set in two timelines. I think there's a school for girls, which seems to be a boarding school. 100 years ago there were a bunch of tragic deaths, and now someone is making a horror movie about those deaths in the present day. I think there might be wasps involved in the deaths as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one actually. I wouldn't be upset if you wanted to vote for this, because this is definitely high up on my list of priorities. It's just really chunky, so I need someone to kick me up the butt and make me read it, because it is huge. I don't think it would take me long to read, to be honest. Kerry said it reads really quickly, and there are like pictures and things in here and footnotes, so I don't think it would be too difficult. I have Vampires of El Norte. Again, I don't think this is straight up horror. This is another one that I'm reading very soon for a reading vlog, so again, don't feel compelled to vote for it, but you want to. It's set in 1840s Mexico, and I think it's about the US invading Mexico during that decade, and I'm sure there are comparisons made between the American soldiers and the vampires of the north. The Coffin Path. This one I got from a friend at work. She was giving it away. She really enjoyed it, but she doesn't really keep a library, so she gave it to me. And this one, it says, one of the blurbs says not to be read alone late at night, so maybe it's really creepy. It says here that there's something evil in the moors. My camera cut off, which is really annoying. But basically this one is set in the moors and there's a creepy house and something evil. 3 ancient queens are missing from her father's study. A stranger appears seeking work and she reluctantly, she being the main character, takes him in. So I think this is going to be really creepy. I think this will be a really good one to read like late at night when it's raining even, and yeah, I think it'll be really spooky. I've got Hex. This one I bought quite recently from a charity shop, which is why it's kind of beaten up, but that's okay. It's set in the 17th century, maybe, or that there's a legend in Black Spring, and in the 17th century a woman had her eyes sewn shut and she is the Black Rock Witch. I've heard this is terrifying. A few people I know have read it and yeah, they got really creeped out, so I'm looking forward to giving this a go. I think it's going to be a really fast read, so this might be another one to read during Halloween. Maybe I could read it on reading sprints or something and really embarrass myself. I've got White is for Witching. This one is a haunted house story, I think, and I was going to include it in my upcoming haunted house reading vlog, but I just couldn't fit another book on my TBR. I'm struggling enough already with the ones that were on there. This one is set in the UK, in Dover, which you may know from images and stuff if you've never been there. Dover is a town on the coast, kind of facing France, with some massive cliffs, and I can imagine in the dark the countryside of Dover is a really creepy place, kind of cold and windy and looking out at the sea. So this one is one that I'm looking forward to reading. I have started this one in the past as well, but the writing style was confusing. So I think I need to be awake when I'm trying to read this one, and I definitely wasn't at the time. So I've only read 20 pages and I need to start again because I was confused. I have The Devil and the Dark Water. This is a historical book set on a ship. I don't really know if it's like straight up horror again, but it's by Stuart Turton, who wrote The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, and I loved that book. So I'm hoping I'm going to love this one as well. It's another chunky one, but I do have high hopes for it. I think it's going to be amazing. It's about a detective who is being transported from Amsterdam to possibly the UK, I'm not sure. There are prisoners on board and devilry begins to blight the voyage. So sounds very interesting. I'm looking forward to reading this one so much. The Haunting of James Hastings. This one is one that I've almost unhauled like a million times. I also had The Birthing House by him. I've heard awful things because they're rated poorly on Goodreads, and I tried reading I think the first chapter of The Birthing House and I wasn't intrigued at all, and then I tried reading like a random chapter of this one and it seemed a lot more interesting to me. So I kept hold of this, but it might be one that I unhaul. I don't know if any of you guys have read this one. If you have, let me know in the comments below. This is about a guy whose wife has died and she comes back to haunt him, I think, or a version of her comes back. It says, first her voice echoes through the phone lines and from behind the ballroom doors, then her shoes reappear streaked with mud and grime as though they've been unearthed from the grave. I think this one does sound really creepy, but if it's as bad as everyone's saying, then I don't really want to hold on to it, but I'm so intrigued by it. Let me know if you've read it and if you enjoyed it. And then finally, the last horror book I have on my TBR is Halcyon, if that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Again, I have no idea what this one's about. Like I said, I go into horror books not knowing much at all. Paul Tremblay has blurbed it, as has Sarah Pimborough. Paul Tremblay has blurbed it twice, and I've just noticed is that face on the cover. You know I'm terrible at seeing faces, but that looks like a face. So this one, it says, is set on a beautiful island run by people who want to live without fear, crime or greed. On the heels of a tragedy, Martin Lovegrove moves his town to Halcyon. A couple of months he tells himself to retreat from the chaos and the grind, yet soon he begins to suspect there's something beneath Halcyon's perfect veneer. Something, darkness underneath. So this one sounds like a small town creepy horror book, and I'm looking forward to giving that one a go. So I don't think I can hold all of these up, which is really quite frustrating, but here's a small selection of the horror books that I have on my physical TBR. Please do vote in the comments about which ones you think I should read. I plan to read all of them eventually because I am excited for all of them, apart from maybe The Haunting of James Hastings, but all of them do intrigue me. I'm very interested to read a lot of them, so anyone you pick I'm not going to be mad about. I just want some influence in my life. So here's some of them. If you've got them to the end, then hopefully you've seen the other half. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I'll speak to you all in the next video. Bye.